Hello and welcome to Hixxy Studio. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this card with this flower border die from Yvonne Creations. It's from the Sweetheart collection. And actually, I think it's more of a panel die than a border die, but either way, it's a very pretty die. It comes in 3 pieces. So you get the inner, which cuts in, and then you get a just one that will allow you to cut it out, and then also an outer border. So you could use those two together, you could use those two together, you could use those two together, or you can use them all individually. So I've kind of done a bit of a mix on this card. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to cut into the card. These two panels here are actually cut in. It's a bit of an illusion. They're not on top, and it's got a bit of paper stuck behind it. So what I did, this is roughly 6 by 6. It's one of those where you cut a piece of A4 into to 6. So you got, sorry, let's try that again. Cut a piece of A4 so you've got the length of the A4 by 6 inches, and then score it at 5 7/8. So this is just a 5-inch square of blank paper, and what I did is I used that to give myself a guide as to where I want to put my cut my panels in. So that's what these marks are, and they will be rubbed out afterwards. So then what I've done is I've used, although I'm not going to cut with this die, I have used it to position on those marks. And then I'm going to just get some tape ready, green tape ready. And I'm going to hold that down. I'm going to place that in. Okay. And then hold that down and move that one away. And then I'm going to just tape that down. Okay. And we're going to run that through the machine. Now, I'm going to run it through with just a card shim. We'll see if it cuts enough. The problem when you're cutting into cards, the problem is that you can't get the die. The best way to run the die through would be that way, but obviously if I've got the full length of my card, I can't do that. So just be a little careful with how you're doing it. So all I'm doing at the moment is putting what a piece of card, 300 GSM card in there as a shim. If that doesn't work, then we'll swap that out for the magnetic shim. Okay. So see how we've done. Turn it over. Oh, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to slightly angle it the other way. Just a few little bits here where I might just put in a random piece of card. I might put in another shim just to see if we can get that last bit. It is pretty much cut, but I can just see that it's not as dark. The cut there, I can hear it then. The cut line was not as dark, which means it's not cut as crisply as the other bit. So let's hope that that's done the trick. Yes, see that's all it needed. That's all it needed. Okay. Right. So I'm going to take this off. Like so. And then now be very gentle as you ease this off. What we don't want to be doing is just tearing it out, because there are some quite fine bits, and that's another reason why I wanted to make sure it was all cut before. Well, I might do it just look at that. I'll run over. Doesn't give me any additional help. not, I'm just going to start going through with my pokey tool. Some bits are the bits that will just pop out, but other bits are the sort of the holding bits that if you can just get your pokey tool in, they'll start to ease the card out, like that bit there. I think it's worth taking the time over, because what you don't want to do, there we go, just by popping a few bits out, it's helped to release that. What you don't want to do is, having cut it into your card, then rip it and ruin your card. I mean, it's not the end of the world, because this is going to be stuck. It's going to have a piece of paper stuck behind it. Okay. So it's not the end of the world, but you know, you don't really want to be having to make the wrong one. That's the one, not the one I've just cut. You don't want to have to be making like little repairs, when just taking a little bit more time would have done the job. Okay, how are we doing? Just a couple more bits. Okay, so let's fold the card back over, and we will. I'm just going to get my eraser just to erase those marks. Like so those are our two bits that I've cut in, and I have a piece of paper that will sit behind that. So I'm going to go ahead and just for time, I'm not going to try and get glue on every bit. I'm going to go for glue. Sorry, excuse me. Glue in the middle of these flowers, just so that they stick down. Like so. And then I'm going to get my larger glue and just go. Oh, she says my larger glue would like to oblige me by working. There we go. Around. Like so. And we'll stick that on like that. Okay, so that's that done. Now, I've cut a couple of pieces purely because it would mean multiple runs through the machine, and there's not really a whole need for you to watch me cut the same thing multiple times. So I have already cut the two borders for these. So I have used these two dies. So I've used the outer die and I've used this die. Okay, and those have cut me a border that is going to sit around those. So let's get those stuck on. Tweezers. I'm going to use my inner nozzle. And go all the way around. And that's one pretty much done. So that is going to go over like So hopefully that's enough glue. I'm just going to grab a piece of paper and go over that. Right, I'll actually get a bigger nozzle on this one. That's probably why that one doesn't want to stick, because there's not quite enough glue on there. I'm go over like that. Okay, so that's those done. Now we need to cut all the bits for the top panel. So I'm going to, this is going to take 2 runs through for what I want to do. So I need back panel, which I'm going to cut out of this one. I need the panel, which I'm going to cut out of these 2. But then I'll need to also cut a panel from this one to go behind. So that will be my, in fact, let's do this one first, because this one is more intricate, and then the other 2 I can do at the same time, because they are essentially simple shapes. On there, and that one there. Okay, let's grab this. I am going to keep both shims in, because I'm cutting essentially the same card as I did before. So I know that by putting the 2 shims in, it worked nice. I'm doing that because I can see I've got my plastic shim off at an angle, but the mouth is just wide enough to take it, thankfully. Right, so there we go, that's cut nicely. And pop that out. Okay, just for the minute, I'm just going to leave that to one side for the minute, and put that on there. And then we're going to run this through with, oh, I nearly gave myself quite enough room there. And then this one on here. And I'm going to just slightly angle them going through. All right, so all that's starting, run the brush over the die, and gently start to ease that off. I might do as like I did with the previous one. I might go through with my paper tool just to release a few more of these bits. It looks like it moved slightly, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not 100% straight in there, but we'll still have a little bit of an edge. Okay, let's go up here and see if some of these, release some of these to give us that little bit of release. We're still quite in there. Sometimes, oh, that was a nice one. That's helped to release there. Sometimes when we put a slightly too much pressure on as it goes through the machine, it causes this, that I've got an issue with now. It pushes it too hard into the die. And so you just need to very carefully ease it out. It's nothing really to do with the die, it's to do with how how hard the card has been forced into that die by the pressure of the machine. So I'm just very gently easing this out. There we go. Phew. Then pop that bit out, that bit out. Okay, so it's all out of there. Let's just make sure we get those last few bits out of the die. Okay, that's one bit. And then I have just a nice, oh, maybe I don't click. Not cut on that little corner. So let's run that very quickly back through. Just need another little run through the machine. This one, oh, this one's done the same. Now, the main culprit I know for me for this is my plates. It's where I position it on my plate, because with the best will in the world, it's bowed. And sometimes you'll get dead spots in there where even with the great pressure of the Gemini, it can't push it into that particular spot. So, but you'll know your machine, you know where you might find those. So let's give that one another go through as well. Yeah. Near that crack, so that tells you I've got it in the right place this time, so it's cutting through nicely. So we just need that one now for under there. You can see that's now all cut. But it's not the die. It's usually the machine and the pressure. Not yet pressure points or dead spots on your plates. Right. So those are our 3 dies. So here I've cut just using the outer. Here I've cut just using the plain sort of inner, the decorative and the plain inner. And here I use the outer and that plain inner. So I've used most combinations. I think the only combination I haven't used, because I used that on its own in the card, I haven't used that combination. That's the only one I didn't use on this particular card. So, right, a bit of glue on the back of this. And I'm going to do the same as I did before. I'm going to glue in the centre of these flowers, but I'm not going to fuss too much about all the edges of the petals. And then all the way around. Oh, like so. So this is going to sit on top of this. And you know, I mean, you might say, well, why didn't you just do all 3 in this particular way? Well, I could have done, but I think with this one, you get, it's less bulk to the card, because I'm talking and pressing at the same time. You'd have this raised up. Right, now that's gone completely wonky now. Let's just focus on gluing this before I start talking about anything else. Okay, right. So you would have this bulk, if you like, again underneath. And I know we're all very conscious of postage and, you know, getting it through as cheaply as we can. So this kind of flattens it out somewhat. That said, you know, I mean, if I put this flat on, it'll be nice and flat. But I am going to use 3D glue gel. So swings and roundabouts, really. Whatever you prefer to do. So this Oh, this one now is going to go pretty much across the center. I am just going to, yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to press it down too much, just in case I want to move it when I get my sentiment out. No, I'm quite happy with that. So let's get that settled. And then sentiment is Julie Hickey Everyday Sentiment Stamp ever. That's my go-to at the moment for all my sentiment stamping. And then I have a little, well, I say little, not so little, bow and a few little flat back pearls to finish off my little thing here, like so. And my wax pencil, and these just go on like this to finish the card off. It's one of the things I tend to do on an awful lot of my cards is a little bow, well, again, not so little bow, and flat back pearls. I'm not hugely, and I'm not saying I never, but I'm not hugely into sort of sparkly gems. That said, I don't mind occasionally, but I do like my flat back pearls. Okay, so there we have a floral panel card made using the floral border die, although as I said at the beginning, I feel it's more of a panel, from Aall Creations Sweetheart collection. Thank you for joining me.